Okay, so we're in drop D, and the very first note of the piece is just the open string plucked like that, yeah, and it carries on for 2 bars worth. I'm just going to show you the main figures, the main phrases here. There's a really good video which I'm going to send you. There's quite a few on YouTube, but I'll send you a link to this one. It's really good. So I'll explain what he's doing first and show you what he's doing, and then you watch the video and you can watch him put it all in place. So yeah, first of all it starts off with just that open string, and you'll see that he's using a plectrum. We could use a plectrum, but we're going to use fingers because it's better practice that way. But even if you were using a plectrum, everything I talk about is going to be exactly the same techniques. The only difference will be, instead of fingers plucking, you just have your plectrum. Now, you know how to use a plectrum from guitar. You use exactly the same on a bass. And this bass line isn't fast, it's quite a slow bass line, so you'll see him in the video, every stroke he uses is a downstroke. The technique for this hand is exactly the same, but this would be picking with a plectrum rather than our 2 fingers, our walking fingers. So let's do it with 2 fingers, walking fingers, because it's better practice that way, because we already use a plectrum from playing guitar. Well, sometimes we do anyway. So after you've done that open D string, the first phrase you get is, which is open D string, then 3rd fret A string, and 5th fret A string. But what we don't want is, this is an open low string, we don't want that note carrying on when you're playing those other 2 notes, right? So what bass players will do is they'll have their hand in this ready position or home position. And I've got my fingers basically laying on the strings, yeah, in the area of the fretboard that I need to be fretting, and I've just got them laying on the strings. And what have we got here? We've got an open string, open low E string, which is now D, the note D, but it's an open low E string, and then we've got frets 3 and 5 on the A string, and we're going to have an open A string, but it's all going to be around this area, frets 3 and 5, yeah. And for these couple of phrases it'll be on the A string, 3 and 5. So I'm not going to have my hand anywhere else but around here. And I pluck the open D string, and then, can you see that? I'm bringing fingers 2, 3 and 4. Finger 1 is resting on the 3 thinner strings, yeah, not the E string, because I want that to ring out. Why have I got finger 1 resting on these strings? Well, yes, well, 2 reasons. One, like I said, so that my hand is in the right area and it's ready to go. But another and more important reason, actually, is you don't want to play like this. If you play like this and you're actually recording, or you're playing at high volumes, if you strike any open string and the other open strings aren't being muted, they'll start to ring out a bit in resonance. And on a bass, that gets really noisy because it's such a because the strings are so thick and it's such a big sound, just one note. Even on a guitar, it's not good. You get extraneous noise that you don't want. But on a bass, recordings are ruined. You know, people going into the studio and recording a line, they're ruined by people not muting. So every bass player knows about muting. So when I want this low E string, just the open low E string, my first finger is, and it's not pressing down, it's just touching, yeah, it's just resting on so as to mute the A string, D string and G string, yeah. They're all muted, that's fine. And And so I pluck that D, sorry, I pluck that low E string, the note D. And I also, you'll hear in the piece, and you'll see in the standard notation, and you'll hear it in the tuition video that I send you a link to, your open D string doesn't ring out until the next note. It's not 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3. It doesn't ring out right up until we play the next note. It stops a bit before. It's 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So what I'm doing, I'm letting the open string, the open note, ring out for one crotchet, one beat, 1 and 2. And then I'm bringing fingers 2, 3 and 4 down on the strings, just touching the strings to mute this note. Yeah. Now fingers 2, 3 and 4, they're pretty much straight, and I just bring them down and lay them across all 4 strings. Yeah. So before, when I start out, I've got open D string and first finger muting the A, D and G strings. But when I want this open string to stop, I just bring those 3 fingers down. If I just brought one finger, apart from being a bit awkward, you're quite likely to, we looked at harmonics a bit in the tuning lesson, in the tuning video, just bringing one finger down, especially on a bass with these big thick strings, you're very likely to actually get a harmonic somewhere. Whereas if you've got 3 fingers on the strings, because you're deadening it here, here and here, not anywhere near as much chance of a harmonic coming through. So I play the open D string, bring the fingers down, 2, 3 and 4 to mute it. Then, quite a quick move, I immediately raise them slightly so that I can play 3rd fret of the A string and then 5th fret of the A string. And then when I hit that 5th fret, it's a staccato note, it's a short note, so I don't let it ring on. As soon as I plucked, well, yeah, pretty much as soon as I plucked, I release the pressure, keeping the finger on the string. I don't want that sound. I just want to hear the note and then release the pressure on the string so that I deaden the note, yeah, so that I stop the note. So we've got open D string, mute, then I want to play 3rd fret of the A string, which involves fingers 2, 3 and 4 obviously being lifted slightly off the fretboard again, yeah, just not much, just a bit off, that's on, that's resting on the strings, that's coming off, resting on, coming off, yeah, so that it allows so that they're not in the way of my fretting the 3rd fret of the A string. And I'm doing that with my first finger, and then I'm fretting the 5th fret of the A string with my little finger. And then, like I said, that's a staccato note or a short note. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay, that's our first phrase really. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. With the walking fingers, the alternating fingers, don't worry too much at the moment about, oh, should I be using my first finger now or my second finger now? The main thing is that if you've used your first finger, maybe you're going to use your second finger next, yeah? I mean, a lot of the time that would be the case, just... Yeah, if you have a passage of fast notes, which we don't in this piece, but if it was like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, you can see how I'm doing first, second, first, second, first, second, first, second, because that makes it easier to get that sort of speed rather than trying to go. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I'm plucking that low E string with my first finger, the first beat of the bar, 1 and 2 and 3, and then I know what I've just said about alternating fingers, but instead of using my second finger for the very next note, because I've got quite a gap, Oh, hang on, come back. Because I've got quite a gap in time, I use my first finger again. So I pluck with first finger, then first, second. So I'm using the alternating fingers for the fast bit, yeah? First, first, second. First, first, second. First, first, second. Okay, that's the first phrase. The second phrase, I'll just put this in as well, and then I'll do another video for the rest of the bass line. But these two phrases are the ones that go throughout, or the main, yeah, they're kind of like the main part of the song. These are the ones that drive through the song. So we've got our 0, 3, 5, yeah? Then the next bar, we've got this, 5, 5, 0, 3. So all the same position, yeah, well, we've got an open A string now, but I've gone 0, 3, 5, then 5, and again this first note, this next bar, 5, I kill it, yeah, I choke it. I don't go so that the first two notes sustain, run into each other. I go, so I've plucked, got the note, let it carry on for a crotchet, that is for one beat, 1 and 2. Then when I get to the beginning of beat 2, 1 and 2, or beat 2, I release the pressure again, yeah, so that I have a shorter note. 1 and 2, sorry, 1 and 2, and yes, and then on the end of 2 I pluck it again, so 1 and 2, and 3 and 4. That is 5, 5, 0, 3. 5, 5, 0, 3. Okay, is that okay? 5, 5, 0, 3. And finger wise, I wouldn't worry about it, but I'm going first finger, first, second. Damn, got it wrong. First finger, first, second, first. So basically in the quicker bits where you need to be quicker because the notes are closer together like that rather than that's not too fast. So at the beginning of that bar I'm going first finger, plucking with the first finger, then I'm plucking with the first finger again, but then I'm doing my alternating fingers. So I got in this hand first, first, second, first, and again first, first, second, first. So let me do that. Let me put the two bars together. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? And that 2-bar phrase keeps repeating. So that's the main part of each verse. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, so I hope that helps. I'm going to send you this, and well, I'll be sending the video after this, and you'll see this phrase. Like I said, it keeps repeating throughout the whole song. Get this phrase first, and then I'll do, I'll be doing another video for the other phrases in the song, okay? There's only really 1 or 2 other main phrases, so yeah, let's get this one first. Okay, bye.